I feel like I've been able to like capture it in the album. But even with the cover art, it's like blue skies, and it's like, but it's at the same time, it's like water. Like you're in water. It's kind of like the same feeling of like being lost at sea, or like
Yeah.
it's like unknowing, but you're still like it's blue. It's not like gray skies and shit like that. Like it's positive. So.
It's unknowing, but everything looks bright from here.
Yeah, it's kind of like a beauty in not knowing like what's next.
Show me up when things get hard and complicated. Will you give me your love? Baby, I need someone who will be there, someone I trust. When you feel like there's no one, when you feel your heart's undone, I will prove that I'm the one who will be there. Take you where I'm from.
Yo, what's up? This is Above the Waves. It's your boy Tone Park. I got Mr. LJ in the back as always.
Yo.
So today we got a special guest for you. One of our favorite artists that you've heard about us talk about plenty of times on this pod. With his last album dropping in August 2021, Rosita, Internet Money's in-house engineer. He engineered behind the biggest hits. You even got a diamond record under your arsenal, huh? Here to preview his new album, Unknowing, dropping June 23rd, about a week out. No further ado, Era.
What's good?
Welcome.
What's up, man? Thank you so much for coming on. Oh, I got to do this celebratory shot right here. I brought out the special one for you.
Yeah, that's love.
1942.
I'm really happy to be here, by the way. I don't know if you can tell, but Tony's always showing love, so.
Oh,
God damn.
it's for the nerves, baby. It's for the nerves.
It's not even a shot, bro. It's a double shot.
Oh, that's a good one. So, here you go. Hose up.
Salute.
Woo! All right, baby.
I'm going to pretend like that shit wasn't gross.
All right, so we about a week out. How you feeling, man?
I feel good, man. Hold up. Yo, that shit.
You know what usually helps? Taking another shot.
Oh, shit. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait to see how much this one hits me.
Yeah.
I feel good, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like every time I do an album or project, it takes so much out of me. Like it takes like it's almost like taking a screenshot of like the last year or like whatever of my life, and I finally get to share it with everybody, and I feel as if that's just like the best feeling. I feel like with these projects.
Yeah. So, I mean, your last album came out in August 2021. When did you start working on this one? How long did it take to make?
It's always kind of weird because, for example, like when I dropped Rosita, it kind of felt like you don't really see like what's next. You just kind of see like what's going on in the moment. And I even had some songs that like I would make like a week or 2 weeks after like the album would drop. Like you just kind of don't know where they lead to until like you kind of take a step back. You go through like the rollout of your album. You let the songs come out. You let like them grow into the life that they're going to be, and then slowly but surely you kind of start getting like a new perspective of like kind of like like growing up. Like
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like with these albums is that every time I grow up and I go through different things and gain new perspectives, and they kind of start accumulating into like lyrics and like concepts, and I learn from like mistakes of previous things, and I kind of just adjust from there.
Yeah.
So I would say like probably after that album, and then songs start adding up, and then you kind of start getting a concept, and you kind of want to start throwing some of these songs out, which is what I did.
Yeah.
I think right now out of the 11 songs on the project, like 4 of them were like singles and stuff that I threw out throughout the year, and one of them was as early as like last January with somebody I know.
Oh yeah.
So that kind of like shaped like the direction I wanted to go to, and that's kind of how like it starts off.
Nice. Not bad. So overall, it's like the moment you're done with the last one, you're already working.
Yeah, and even like vice versa. Like it could be like a month before I'm like, yo, this is 90% done. I make a song, and like I love the song so much that like it'll just be on the album, and it's like a song I made like a month prior to like saying it's done. So it kind of goes a lot of different ways. You kind of just gotta go based off of like the feeling, how you feel about it, and it kind of felt like it was at that point of like laying it out and letting like the world have it, because I've had them for so long.
So I had this question. I've been thinking about this. Like, how do you know an album is done? Like, how do you know a project's done if you're working on it so much, you're living with it?
It's a feeling, bro. And I know it sounds super like generic to say,
Yeah.
but it's really like it's literally a baby.
Yeah.
Like you kind of just know like you know like you grow it and like you like really nurture it until it becomes something and you're like, you know what, like it's ready to fly, it's ready to do its thing.
Yeah.
So it's just a feeling. You kind of have to like really just know it. And I don't know, I wish I had a better answer for you. Like for this album, it just felt like it was completed. It felt like I did everything I needed to do. And it felt like this chapter was like written. It was done.
Yeah, it's ready to close it up.
And it's ready to share and put out and like push and like I had all these concepts and like this world that I wanted to create around it. And that's like when I knew like it's done. In the beginning, you don't know, like you're kind of just like making songs, doing whatever until like you know like what world you want to enter, what world you want to create for people.
Yeah.
So I think that all kind of falls into like knowing when it's time.
Got you. So the album title, Unknowing. Speaking of knowing, the unknowing or unknowing. Keep calling it the unknowing. I don't know.
It was gonna be that, but I felt like it's like I might as well just call it Unknowing. So
Yeah.
it's pretty much the Unknowing. Yeah.
So the title it stems from track was it 8, 10?
Yeah, and that's another thing, you know, kind of touching back on like not even knowing what direction, like no fucking pun intended, but that song wasn't necessarily like the album name of it, but the whole album as a general kind of felt like that.
Yeah.
It felt kind of like when you're like at the point of your life where like you don't know what's next, like you don't know what's gonna happen, you just kind of like go with it.
Yeah.
So I feel like with that, even the concept of like the cover art is like the unknowing is like being that, but also like capturing like no matter, even if I don't know like where I'm going, I don't know what's going on, I still feel like it's like in a positive place. I feel like there has been like some downs throughout this whole thing, and that I feel like I've been able to like capture it in the album. But even with the cover art, it's like blue skies, and it's like, but it's at the same time it's like water. Like you're in water. It's kind of like the same feeling of like being lost at sea, or like it's like unknowing, but you're still like it's blue. It's not like gray skies and shit like that. Like it's positive. So.
It's unknowing, but everything looks bright from here.
Yeah, it's kind of like a beauty in not knowing like what's next. You know what I mean?
I like that. So I like the cover art. I was looking at it today. It's the clouds, right?
Yeah, it's the clouds. It's me just lost in that shit.
Yeah. So the first song, which my favorite song on the album, changes, whatever mood I'm in.
Yeah.
But that first one, Name in the Sand, the way it starts, the dun dun dun, it has that airy feeling. Like it sounds like the air is coming. It sounds like the clouds are moving in. So it gives that feeling when I seen the cover and seen the name, and I was like, ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
I like this. And you start the album off my favorite way anyone could start off an album, which is because you know that I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm fucked up. Every time I hit you up, it's like I'm only hitting you up because I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
But that's just, I mean, I don't know if there's any truer words ever been spoken.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm hitting you up, but I'm drunk, but you already know that. So
It's very, very relatable, I feel like, with a lot of people. But in different ways, too. It's kind of like, be on fucked up. Like, it could be mentally. It could be literally, like, you're fucked up. It could be, like, you're a mess. Like, whatever. Like, it's relatable in all senses. So
that makes sense. So I related it to I'm drunk, I'm fucked up, so I'm on one and thinking about you, and so I hit you up and what's up? I said I was gonna hit you up, and I hit you up. So
yeah. No, I feel it. But that's the beauty of like this music shit. Like I love that like lyrics and like melodies and everything can translate so differently with like with anyone. You know what I mean? Like you might take it that way, but somebody else might take it the other way, and that's what I love about it. I actually on not Rosita, on Routine, one of like my earlier projects. I had a song that I made it about my niece and that was kind of like a pivotal point for me because that was the first song that was like melodic. It was like me hopping away from like the rapping and like doing all that stuff.
So that was the turning point.
Yeah, and I think it all kind of stemmed from like my niece. I think she was like 3 or 4, and like she was the biggest fan. She had to be my biggest fan. And like she was over here like rapping my lyrics, and I'm like talking about like fuck this, fuck that, da. And I was like, nah, man, like I I can't have her like, you know what I mean? I gotta give her something to listen to. So I made a song Nena, and that song stemmed from that, like kind of like giving her something to listen to that was me, that like she could be a fan of, that she could sing, that like, you know, she wouldn't get in trouble for. And I feel like that kind of like turned into so much more. Going back to what we were talking about, some guy hit me up and he was like, bro, like that song Nena, like that shit, like I love it, bro. Like that shit really like makes me think about my ex, and like makes me think about like all that shit. Like I literally hit her up, like all this stuff.
Oh, he hit her up. Was that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know the rest of the story, but I just know that like he translated it in that sense when that shit had nothing to do with no ex or like nothing. It just had to do with like I want to make a song for my niece to be able to like sing to.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by like, you know, like they can translate it any way, and that's like what I love about it. It's like looking at like a painting, right? Like everyone has a different perspective of it or a different interpretation of it. Yeah. So that's what I try to do a lot with my music. Try to keep it as broad as possible, but at the same time, like very relatable. Yeah. And still attach like a piece of me or like what I'm going through at the moment, or, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so you did hit on something that I've been very curious about. So you started off as a rapper.
Yeah.
Right? And in the same vein of T-Pain, you're like a rapper turned singer, right?
I didn't even know that shit, but yeah.
That's his, I think that's the name of his first album was Rapper Turned Singer.
You're right.
So what, like when did you first say like, oh shit, I can sing? Or you sang on a record, you're like, this makes sense, you know? Or were you that kid always singing around the house? They're like, hey.
Fuck no. So I've always been like extremely like self-conscious when it comes to like that stuff. But I think when it really started, I was doing like a lot of like rap, a lot of like, you know, like rapping and shit back home. I made my first song when I was like in 7th grade. Oh, yeah. And I remember I was like, we were listening to like, no disrespect, nothing, but like we was listening to like Tyga. And
I love Tyga.
But hold up. We were listening to Tyga at the time. It was like Rack City and like all that shit. And like I was like, damn, this shit's fucking trash, bro. I'm like, bro, I swear I could rap way better than Tyga, bro. And like my friends like, yeah, right. Like do that shit. Yeah. Do that shit. Go ahead. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So I went home, bro. I Googled like everything I needed, like what I need to do to record. I know they was fucking around, like whatever, but I'm like, you know what? This shit will be funny as fuck if I actually record a song or whatever. I found this microphone that was like the shit they use for like online school. It's like $2 or some shit. Found this shit. I found out there's this shit called Audacity you could like record on. Yeah. Download that shit on the family little Mac or not even Mac, bro, Windows that we had, and fucking probably got a virus, but we set that shit up. I wrote down all my homeboys' names, all of them, even my homegirls, whatever. And I just started freestyling. So like I played The Prayer by Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi was like one of my favorite artists growing up. I found an instrumental online. I play that shit, and I'm literally just recording like, Jose, you're a bitch, like like going crazy, right? Like going in there, just going through the list, and it kind of just flowed. And it was just so natural. It wasn't like something like where I had to like think about it twice. I literally did the shit like one take, recorded it, and I was like, this is crazy. Found out how to like bounce it out, put it on my phone. Pull it to school the next day. I'm like, yo, gather around, bro. Gave everybody like the little Skull Candy headphones, whatever. They like start listening to it, and like my whole shit was like, I wanted it to be like funny, bro. Like I was like the funny guy trying to be funny, whatever. But like they sat there and like the seriousness and like the way they just like listened to that shit, they was just like listening and they was just like nodding their head. And then like I'm like trying to like get a reaction, like laugh or something, bro. And then they're like, yo, like take the headphones off and like, yo, like this shit's crazy, like this shit's fire, bro. Like you send this to me, like you send it to me, and I'm like waiting to laugh or whatever. And like everyone I showed to, bro, like they all felt the same way. So at that point, I feel like that was like a very pivotal direction, and like okay, like I really had a lot of fun, like doing that. So then it got a little more serious. I started like writing songs, like doing whatever. I did like my first project my freshman year of high school. Oh, shit. By then it was like kind of like evolving, like putting more money into like getting like little speakers from Best Buy, like little shit, like going up.
So back then, were you getting your music off like SoundClick or what was that?
Nah, I mean there was like BeatStars and like shit like that, but a lot of it was just YouTube, bro. Like Even like a lot of the producers I like work with now, it was like, bro, I tell them now, like, bro, I was stealing your beats for sure. Like I'll be like, yo, like you was on YouTube, like whatever. Like even Internet Money is like a big Taz Taylor, he had Taz Taylor Beats. He was a big producer. He was like one of the people that like really first start doing like the YouTube beats and shit.
Yeah.
The YouTube artist type beats.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of them, it was like I sent a lot of this shit. I'm like, oh, like, you know, whatever. But that shit evolved. My grandma, who was like a big inspiration to me and like creating a lot of the stuff. And like you actually hear her voice like in a lot of my shit. Like probably like each project I got like one of her voice memos in there just because her like the talks I have with her, everything is just so like.
What's her name?
Her name's Tony.
Yeah. I was listening to it today. She said, just remember the music lies in between the lines. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, that's so fire.
Yeah, she be hitting me with shit like that. So I'm like, bro, like every project, every step of like me growing up and like, you know, getting there. But the biggest thing that she always told me, bro, like when I first showed her my first song, like it was just rap. It was like me rapping. I made a song about her. And, you know, like she loved it. But she would always tell me like, you know, like you have such an amazing voice. And I just wish you would use it more instead of just like rapping and like doing that. So
she heard you sing around the house and stuff?
Never. She just heard me rapping. The songs I show her. I go visit her. She lives kind of far from where I stay. It's like 45 minutes, and like, you know, being in high school and shit, middle school, whatever, like that's a trip, bro. You know, whatever. But every time I see her, I show her all the shit I'm working on. And it was always the same thing. Like, I wish she would do more with your voice. I wish she would do more with your voice. I didn't start singing, to kind of go back to your question. I didn't start singing until I came out here to LA. And what really inspired me is I did my first internship at Electric Field Studios. And at the time, they had like a few artists who were kind of like up and coming, but their biggest thing was Post Malone. And Post Malone, at the time, you know, he had like White Iverson, he did like Gold Flex. A lot of people were kind of like questioning like what's next.
Well, like, still like the SoundCloud days.
It was a little bit after that because he already kind of popped off. Like he was popping off. And as an intern, I got to intern one of the sessions, and I sat through one of them and I saw like how he recorded. And it was like they played the beat or like the guitar loop or like whatever. They would play that shit for like 15 minutes. And for 15 minutes, Post would just be in there. He'd just be doing melodies. Like, whatever, just whatever the first thing that comes to your mind. And for some reason, like everything just clicked for me. It was like previously I would listen to a beat I liked and I would spend like a week, 2 weeks, like just sitting there writing to it. I'd play the beat back, literally like line by line, like just going back and forth. But by the time I come back, like sometimes I didn't feel the same way I felt when I was doing that. So seeing this method, everything clicked. It's like, bro's really just like spilling, oh my bad. Bro's really spilling his like heart out and like whatever he feels at that exact moment, kind of like setting the foundation and then just going back and adding the lyrics and like putting it together. And when I saw that, that completely changed everything for me. So at that point, I was like, I'm gonna try that. So started trying it, and that's when like the singing came into it, because then I could do the melodies and then I could worry about the lyrics after. So doing that, and then discovering auto-tune. Cause like,
so are you all auto-tune? What's going on?
Yeah, everybody's all auto-tune. That's the thing. It has such a bad stigma, but literally every single artist you can think of, it's just all auto-tune. Auto-tune has a bad stigma of like how you mentioned like T-Pain, like where it's just super robotic, super whatever, but it's a tool. Like there's a reason why people like Young Thug and like Travis, like all of them are so big and popping, is because they were able to get their melodies out in like that way. Like if it wasn't for auto-tune, like there wouldn't be a lot of these big artists who like have a way to like release their creativity. Yeah. So it's like that. I still think it takes like some sort of talent to like sit there and like put shit together and like be melodic and stuff. I put auto-tune on some people that just are like, fuck, like that shit can't even help them. You know what I mean? But that was
that can't even help them.
That was a pivotal moment, I feel like, for me to like start singing and start doing a lot of the melodic stuff that you hear in my music now.
Yeah. Interesting. I like that. So I was gonna go into your writing process, but I guess that's kind of how you do
Yeah.
it, huh? So
Just-
do you listen to the beat first, or you like depending on the song, do you make the melody beforehand?
Sometimes when I'm just like chilling or whatever, like I get like an idea, I'll record it like on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I like my bad. I have like the voice memo shit,
Yeah.
record a melody, a concept or something I like, and I've done a few songs that way. But I think the best results and like the best like music that just feels right is always like when I have like a guitar loop I really like, or like just any loop, just something that's just instrumentation wise. A lot of the times, like when I do something with like a full beat that has like drums and everything, it kind of gets in the way. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like you kind of like
You just want to strip it and just
yeah,
give it to me.
because with the loop, you're getting like the rawest form of like what you want. It's like you guide it and then you bring in the producers later to kind of like make the song around you and not like you making a song around the beat. You know what I mean?
Okay, so let me break this down. So you get the melody loop, whether it's piano,
Yeah.
guitar, or anything. You'd rather have just that. You work off that, and then you bring the producer in or back in and say, "Here, lay the drums
Yeah,
on this," or
And a lot of
do it around it.
Exactly. I think that's the best way. And even with like other artists, I feel like that's the best way because it's very easy to like fall into, unless it's a super talented like producer who like is just with the shits, who brings something new every time. But it's very easy to get lost into like I guess like the genericness or like whatever of like patterns of beats and drums and shit.
Yeah,
But I think that with just the melodies, like you just have so much power over dictating like the direction of the song. There's less things getting in the way, and like you can even get further into it. And like there's some artists I know who will have like session musicians who will like literally sit there and like they'll be like, I want something like this, da-da-da-da. And then they'll sit there and like chisel that shit until they love it, and then they'll write a song to it.
Oh,
Well,
that's
I'm cool.
fire.
I kind of like, it's a 50-50 for me. Like I need something to inspire me.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the words start coming, it's kind of like you run through that process I explained where you just record. And then that's when shit will start sticking out. And that's when you just start cutting, start like putting shit, like you organize the patterns, and then the patterns become words, and then it's a song, bro. So
Nice.
a lot of my music is kind of acoustic because sometimes like I can't find like the right drums for something.
Yeah.
You know, behind every song there's probably 10, 15 different versions, and that's because we just do it till we find the right one. And then sometimes I say like 80% of the time it comes out. The other 20 become just like acoustic songs.
So that's why we got so many acoustic era songs.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Makes
Because
sense.
all of them start acoustic.
Yeah.
There's maybe one, and I just made it recently, but like I'd say like 90% of my songs start off acoustic. That's acoustic songs.
It's fire.
Yeah.
So this album, I mean, production's great. Who the producers on this album?
There's so many people involved, but the one person who's always there, who always like helps me out with like any idea or anything I might have, is Pharaoh Vice, and he's been my close friend for like the last like 4 years, and like he's like even in the beginning like we didn't have like a lot of chemistry when it came to like figuring it out, but like he really like stuck it out with me, and like he really like brought a lot of like my visions to life, and like he's someone I work with closely. I think he did about like at least 80% of the album, even this one and the last one.
So even on songs he doesn't actually produce, he still adds something to it?
I bring it to him. He's the first person I bring it to, unless I have like a completely different vision that I know somebody else could do. But like he's the first person for everything. Like I'll get the melodies can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
But he's the one I'm like trying to put drums and trying to put the rest of the production. Like yeah, like he's the one, even strings or like whatever. Like he's the one I go to because he at this point understands like what my vision is and like what my sound is. Like he's been like a pivotal person in like helping me just find shit, put it together.
Yeah.
Like I've learned so much from him. Like explain, because like for me, like the drums have always been an issue. It's always been like I feel like maybe like a lot of my shit is not meant for drums, or I just I don't know. But like sometimes, bro, like for example, somebody I know, like he did all that shit.
Oh, that's just fire.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like I was like, look, bro, like I have no idea what the fuck I want for this. Like just do your thing. heard it and immediately just started going to work. And like he did some shit that inspired me. Like if I showed you the original one, you'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, I want to hear it.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you.
So, well, I mean, that song, I mean, it starts off slow and it picks up. So that was him that was like,
Yeah,
let's pick it up.
Even like the it all started with a melody. That one did have drums on it, but it was very like, if you think of like 70s drums, they're kind of like weak.
Yeah.
They're present enough for you to kind of like find a melody.
Yeah.
I recorded the whole thing on that, and then I knew it needed to be strong. It needed to be like big. That's the only direction I gave him, and he took that shit and ran with it. So he did that. We did that shit in like one session, and
one session.
Yeah, like so. When I say that, I do a lot of my shit by myself. Like I literally get packs of like loops, packs of like melodies, and then from there, like I just like being alone.
Yeah.
I don't like nobody, and that's part of the reason why like I even learned how to engineer and how to like do all that is because I'm like I want to be self-dependent in that point. In that form, like I didn't want to have to depend on like waiting for someone to like record me. I didn't want to like be like, cause like I said, bro, like I'm very like self-conscious about like my shit, especially like if I'm just trying to work on ideas and like I don't have like something full. Like I feel like I always have to like deliver. If somebody's like waiting on me, somebody's like sitting there in the studio, like I feel like they're just like
I hate that feeling. Someone's just standing right there, like okay, it's like
and then like if you don't do something amazing, then it just feels kind of like they're just waiting on you, and it just kind of encourages less. But me by myself, bro, I could sit in there, I could fucking scream, I could like fucking whisper in the mic, like it don't matter, like whatever I do, like I can experiment and like really like find something, and that's how I find new shit. Even with that song, somebody I know, like a lot of my music is very chill, bro. Like my voice, like I'm very quiet, I'm very chill. But for that one, like I was just in a place where like I just wanted to like fucking scream. Like I just wanted to scream for real and just get like my frustration. Like I think at the time like my kindness was like being taken for granted, and like that's like where a lot of that shit, that energy comes from in there. And I found a way to morph it into kind of like a love song type of thing.
Yeah.
Or like something more relatable.
Yeah.
So that's where like a lot of that shit came from.
So are you write all your stuff? Do you get help sometimes, or how does
everything, bro?
Everything.
Yeah, there's been some in the past where like I'll present an idea to somebody like who like I fuck with, I trust, and they'll help me like balance out my shit.
Mm-hmm.
But probably like 2 songs out of all the ones that you've heard.
Yeah.
And that's just because I would get like stuck. Like I see a potential in something.
Yeah.
And they would just help me take it like that much further. So, but a lot of it is just, it's my words, it's my melodies, it's like a lot of my shit. A lot of the help would come from like a little bit of arrangement or a little bit of stuff like that. But everything you hear, bro, is my melodies, is my lyrics, everything.
Yeah, so I mean, one of my favorite things about you is your lyrics. So, I mean, how do you say this? Like, you're always on beat, but in the sense of like, I was trying to explain this to myself earlier, how to say it, but I don't know how to say it. So it's like, for example, a line would be like da 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 da. Yeah. There's a lot of new artists or artists that aren't as good. Let's say like a 6ix9ine or something. It'd be like, so they'll be da 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 da. They'll be like da 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 da. And it's like, no, you don't have like the rhythm's off, the melody's off, right? And there's so many different artists who do that, or the rhyming pattern's off, and it's like, this doesn't sound right. But for you, it always seems like everything fits. It doesn't seem like there's wasted words or too many words or not enough words. It just feels like everything's always on point. Yeah. You know?
I think my grandma said that shit the best. Is like, it's really just like the lines, it's patterns, bro.
Yeah.
It's like shit that you learn in fucking
the patterns
school.
Yeah,
bro, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like patterns, and that's like the way you got to look at the melodies. So it's the way you got to look at a whole song. For me, my favorite way to look at a song is like a circle. And like, I know it sounds fucking random, but like, it's always like, if a song feels like it connects from one end to the other, like by the time it comes back to the hook and everything, it's a full circle. So like, I feel like I got songs that, especially the ones that are on albums, those are the ones that I feel like are perfect circles. Where it's like, it starts with an intro, it starts with a verse, it starts with the hook, it comes into the verse, everything flows perfectly to connect everything to like a full circle. There's some songs that I have that feel like half circles.
Yeah.
where it feels like there's a disconnect right here, and you'll never hear those songs. but that's kind of like my analogy for like the way I picture things, and like yeah.
Yeah, that's fire. I like that. I like that. A circle. So, I mean, features on here are hot, right? G5 Baby, 500 Racks. Tariq?
Tariq. He's
Tariq.
with Peachy Rascals, and he was one of my favorite ones out of the group. I love all of them, by the way. It's like shout out to Peachy Rascals. I love all of them. I felt like they're all super talented. But Tariq, we became friends, and he was a fan of mine. And I told him like, bro, I got a song that'd be perfect for you.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to make something with them forever, just because we did work. We worked on some of their music, and then we kind of connected from there. And then that became like, yo, I got a song. It'd be fire. He hopped on it, killed it, and like I love how it takes. A lot of my features, just I'm not sure if that's where you're going with it, but
Yeah, that's my next question.
yeah, those are just people that I genuinely like. I'm fans of, and like whether like I work with them or like somehow we like come across. So those are people I'm really fans of, and like even if a lot of them are like low key or like a lot of them are just like people I do work with and stuff. It's never like on some like random shit. It's always like this song will be perfect for him. Like even somebody I know, like I work with Joe Kenji a lot. Like we worked on countless albums together since like the moment he got signed and everything. And with that, it was like there was so much time to like get together and do something. But I had the perfect song where I felt like it was different enough for him to be on and different enough for me to be on, to where like it was just a perfect match.
Yeah.
So that Tariq was perfect. 500 Racks, I'm a huge fan of 500 Racks.
Yeah, she's hot. Her feature on Long Run, fire, but she killed that shit.
Yeah, no, I love it. And there's finally like that opportunity presented itself. And I had to take it, bro. And, you know, shout out her is a great, I feel like everybody who like is on a song, like I love it, bro. Like I love it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's coming out. That's why it's like doing this thing, because it's just like perfect. I feel like every feature is just like they do their thing. I have to like match my shit and like be the present.
So when you work on these features, are they working in the studio with you? Do you send them out? What's the process?
It's a mix. For example, Tariq and somebody or Joe Kenji that was in studio, because you know like they're here is easier. 500 Racks, it was kind of like a outside type of thing. Even though she is out here, it was kind of like an outside situation. And G5 Baby, he's in Miami.
Okay.
So it was easier for, you know, just send back.
Yeah.
But all that stuff was just kind of like, you know, even with G Baby, like his shit was so fire. Like as soon as I heard it, I'm like, this shit is so fire. And then I had that song, I'm like, bro, shit would be perfect for him. You know what I mean? So,
Nice. Yeah, that's the one thing that I always trip out on, because it's like I went to these artists. They're good artists, but I didn't hear them the way I heard them on your album. Like they didn't sound that way.
Yeah, that's kind of going back to like what I was saying with like it's different enough for them to hop on, like kind of bring them in my world, but also like me bring something of value to their world.
Yeah.
So with G Baby, like I love that shit. Like all of fucking Rainbow, like that whole song, I feel like it's just like an embodiment of like my environment, and I feel like it's so similar to like, you know, like everybody on that shit, all the styles, everything is so like West Coast, but at the same time it's so Southern.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what I grew up with, and I feel like that's why it was just so perfect. Like it might not be something that he'll ever hop on, but it just felt like so perfect. Like his voice just speaks on that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So speaking of which, West Coast and Southern, where are you from?
I'm from Tucson, Arizona.
Okay.
So I'm from the east side of Tucson, Arizona, and a lot of the shit, like even being out here in California, I've been out here for close to 8 years now, and it's felt like a lot like home, like the same culture, the same like environment, like a lot of it is very similar in like the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So that's why to me, like I feel like I never really like left that. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I mean, all the Latinos over here, it's the same. You get same good food.
Yeah. The only thing that's different is the tortillas, for real, to be honest.
What? Explain.
It's like the tortillas I'm used to are Sonoran style, because Tucson's right there on that border. And
is that like that yellow card?
Nah, bro.
So I just don't even know.
Nah, it's so hard to explain, bro.
Like the
And
maíz?
It's so, no, not the maíz, bro. The flour tortillas. they're just so fucking like special and like fluffy and good. And I feel like that, and then like the carne asada, because like a lot of the asada over here in California, they do a lot of stuff like on the flat iron, and a lot of like where I come from is on an open flame with charcoal or like mesquite,
Yeah.
and that shit gives it like a totally different fucking flavor.
Yeah.
It's not as oily. It's not like it's whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. But I love California, bro. Like it's such a melting pot. It's so like I love being here.
Yeah. No, I agree. It tastes much different on a grill than
Oh, for sure, bro.
over an open fire. Fuck, flour tortillas, huh? That's my favorite. So
Yeah, nah, bro. I'm telling you, like, I'll bring you a pack next time. There's actually a
Oh,
spot
for
out,
sure.
there's a spot out here. They got some like that are really close, and it's because it's Sonora style, and like they do their thing with this shit, bro. It's really good.
Where's it at? Just so people can know.
Sonora Town. I'm not trying to. It's not even gatekeeping because it's so popping.
Yeah.
Sonora Town, like they bring
It's
this
in the
shit.
valley.
Nah, bro. It's like downtown, and then they got one. I think like Brentwood.
Okay.
They got two located. They just opened that one, and like the tortillas are fire. Like, bro, that's my place while I'm out here for sure.
All right. So speaking of food, because I've been wondering about this. So you got the new video coming out, Buttercup.
Yeah,
Looks
Buttercup.
fire. Got the El Camino.
Yep.
Now before we get into the full video, you over there with the Whataburger. What a
Oh, yeah.
what a burger. What a burger.
What a burger.
What a burger.
Yeah, put some respect on Whataburger.
Yeah, is that fire or what? We don't.
I love Whataburger, bro. People, it's like people be hating on that shit, bro. Especially out here, bro, because they're like, oh, like fucking In and Out. But bro, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, like, I'm not going to Whataburger to get a burger, bro. Like, I'm going to Whataburger to get a chicken strip sandwich, a chicken barbecue strip sandwich. And like a lot, I be trying to put people on, bro. Like either you love it or you fucking hate it.
Chicken barbecue strip sandwich.
Chicken strip barbecue sandwich. It's literally like toasted Texas bread. They put barbecue sauce on both sides. They put like a fucking, I want to say it's like a provolone or like
Like a white
it's
cheese.
like it's a white cheese. It's not cheddar. It's not nothing like
Swiss
that.
or something.
It might be Swiss, but it's kind of like I don't know. It's fucking good, and they put like 3 tenders in that hoe. That shit is amazing, bro. And their fries are good. They got spicy ketchup. A lot of people love spicy ketchup. That's like their little specialty. And that's just a spot, bro. There's 24 hours, and you just after a night out, like instead of going to Taco Bell, like out here, like you go to Whataburger.
Hey. Taco Bell's always a hit.
No, it is. I'm guilty of that shit too, but because the Taco Bell quesadillas, them shits be going fucking crazy.
That was a
But-
fire too.
But Whataburger, man, like that's a staple. That's a staple in like any southern state, and that's why I had to include that shit in the video.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those little things that like people like if you know, you know, and
Yeah.
like that's gonna make it all that more like relatable
Yeah.
and like you understand where I'm from type shit.
Nice. So talk to me about this video, Buttercup. Looks fly. Again, El Camino's fire. Who'd you work with on the video?
That was Edgar Daniel, and that's actually a director who like I wanted to work with for like a long time. And he actually to bring kind of more context into it. When I was working with Peachy Rascals, where the group Tariq is in, he was doing like their videos, and like that's where I saw it. And he's a Mexican American director, and my whole shit is like the same way like I want to like embrace like my culture and like me like I want to like involve people like that creatively because I feel like they understand like the vision I'm really going for.
Nice.
So I found out about him. I followed his work for a while, and like we were supposed to actually do the video for him for the first album, and like we planned everything out, bro. Like I don't think people understand too is like hitting up a director. That shit is hard, bro. Like it's really like directors like if they don't fuck with you or like it's kind of like I don't know. It's a process, bro. So you gotta like kind of like build it up and like do the shit because like as soon as you ask like yo can we do this video or whatever like you better fucking be ready to do that video because like they're not wasting their time going back and forth whatever. So anyways, finally got a balls, asked him, he's like yo what's up bro, I fuck with you, like we fuck with mutual people. Finally got all this shit ready to do the him video, and there's just one thing after another. It just wasn't like lining up. I think I had like this car and everything I wanted to do for the video. The car, like it was getting harder because the location we had to move it like elsewhere. A lot of people don't know, like people that own these cars, Like, bro, like that's their baby, bro.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
They don't want to dry that shit. They don't even want you in that shit. They don't even want you touching that shit. They want you to pay them, but they don't want you to fucking touch their shit. They
Don't
want
move
you
my
to-
seat.
bro. Literally, bro. So, and it was like a whole thing. That shit. Finally, like we tried like 2-3 times. The last thing, it just kind of didn't work out. It fell through. I was really disappointed because like what I explained, it's like very hard to even like come in contact with somebody like that in the first place. So didn't work out. Turns out like that day we were gonna shoot, it rained anyways. So like it would have just fucking been a mess regardless. Anyways, fast forward some time.
Well, I mean, him. You could do the him in the rain.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a
But
very-
what we had, it was like a house. It was a lot of outside shots. It was driving shots. It was like, which is essentially what we did for Buttercup. But,
Yeah.
we'll get there with the Buttercup shit. But, anyways, time flew by. I reached out to him about this one. You know, like we kind of still were keeping in contact. I reached out to him about this one, and now it was like, I really wanted to do a video like back home in Arizona. And for me, from the moment I left Arizona, like that's like what I've always wanted to do is like bring a real director, like bring, you know, like a whole production of like kind of like glorifying like something what people see as like small and like kind of like pointless or whatever. It's like I wanted to like really glorify that shit. Like this is like what we have. Like we got like a lot of like amazing people here. We got like everybody in that video, by the way, is like all my friends from like 10 plus years.
Oh, nice.
Everybody in there, like I've known everyone forever. And finally, it was a lot of back and forth. Like, if we're gonna do this in LA, this is a budget for LA. If we're gonna do this over here, and like it was way more to do that shit in Arizona. But I was like, fuck it, bro. Like we gotta do it. Like I felt like in that moment where it's like I can't compromise with like my vision. I can't like. That's kind of what it felt with like a lot of shit before. Even with Rosita, I felt like I compromised a lot. It was just kind of like getting it done. And then like you kind of like look at it when it's done and you're like, fuck, like I wish I didn't compromise so much.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like this one is so special because it's like I didn't compromise at all. Like even if it costs more, even if whatever, like I really wanted to do exactly what I wanted to do. So like I never felt that way again.
Nice.
Anyways, Edgar Daniel, we set it up. The day
Like
of the day.
Edgar.
Yeah, literally, bro. And it was so much fucking work, bro. It was so much work. It stressed me the fuck out. Like I lost so much sleep. And like every step of the way, it was like what I was wearing. The fucking car guy, like how I explain car guys are fucking crazy. Like bro pulled up, and I understand it from his perspective because it's like a bunch of like cholos and shit just chilling, and like this shit in the south side.
Yeah.
And he's like pulling up, like he's got like the fucking cuete with him and shit. And
Make sure you're not trying to.
yeah,
Jack
he
his
was
car?
like, nah, bro, like we had agreed on a price. On nah, bro, like if you want this shit, because he's like, if you want this shit, it's gonna be like it's gonna be double. I'm like, bro, come on, bro.
God,
It's
on
like
the
literally
spot.
like
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
on the spot. So I'm like, bro, come on, bro. I had to like sit there and talk to him and like, you know, explain everything and like tell him he could stay, like do whatever. We figured it out, but that whole fucking day, bro, it was raining.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking raining. So like, bro, it don't really rain that much in Arizona, but it just so happened to fucking be raining that day when it was supposed to be sunny. It rained and we had to push it back like an hour, 2 hours, but we got it done, bro. Like we did the inside shots and by the time we finished the inside, it stopped raining outside. So we did all that shit, bro. And like as the day progressed, it kind of like everything got easier and easier. But what I got out of it is like I didn't compromise. Like I feel like I did everything I wanted to do. I captured everything, like the fucking vibe, the shit on film. Everything's done on film, which is like a big thing for me. Like I said, I brought it up to you earlier. Like I love music videos. Like if I watch that shit, like I watch YouTube like religiously just to like see what videos are like recommended to me, and I watch it and I like really appreciate like really well done videos.
Yeah.
That's why I even went with him in the first place. So yeah, Edgar Daniel, we did a video. I'm like really excited to drop that shit. It's like my first real video that like we put together in years, bro. I think since I came out here.
Nice. I mean, great video. Again, I love the cars. I think one thing that's, you know, it's coming up big now, which is like the Latino representation,
Yeah.
right? And which you have heavy. Because I even watched your earlier videos and it, you know, the vibe changed as you got a bit older.
Yeah.
It seemed like that. Probably that was consciously you were trying to
Yeah.
get that
Yeah,
look out.
a lot of it, like you said too, is like a lot of it has shifted. Like, I feel like growing up, I've gotten so much more like appreciation for like our culture and like how beautiful it is, like how like close like us as Latinos are like with our families.
Yeah.
And, like that shit is like you start kind of like, you know, seeing like how other cultures are and stuff, and there's just something really special about it. And like I just love embracing that shit. Like how you said, like the vibe, a lot of the vibe changed from like the beginning, but I think that was just me being like a kid and like trying to be like quote unquote like cool and like not like necessarily like be exactly who I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like now it's just kind of like I feel like I can embrace who I am. I feel like there's no like sort of I don't know, like hesitation or like shame or nothing about it.
Yeah, I feel like prior, I think we said, you know, like growing up, you know, listening to, you're kind of listening like corridos or something.
Yeah,
People were like,
dude.
yeah, what's up,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yo, wetback, little chunty, you know,
Bro,
they'll say
literally.
something.
Literally,
Um,
like growing up, that's how it was. A lot of it was where I grew up. It was all minorities, bro. It was like if you were like white, it was kind of like kind of random. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like it wasn't crazy like that, but it also wasn't like we were all kind of like trying to figure out who we were and like figure out like I don't know, like I guess that like our identity and shit. But like
Yeah.
that shit is right there in front of us the whole time. Like you
Yeah.
gotta be yourself, bro. So many people even told me like when I started rapping, making music, they were like, bro, like you gotta start just making ignorant ass shit. You gotta just do this and like just pop off. And
ignorant
then
ass shit.
yeah, bro,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
like you just gotta start rapping about this. You gotta start rapping about this, just so like you could pop off, and then you could just do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah,
And it just becomes fake. You know what I mean? So
unfortunately, that was the shit that was hot.
yeah,
And then that's the shit that took off and people are still doing.
yeah,
And now when you listen to music, it's like, where's the content?
yeah. It's like dated, bro.
Yeah, it's like that's why you always love like a new artist because they're making a sound that no one else is doing. You know, they're doing
Yeah,
something no
no,
one
I
else is
respect
doing.
that shit, bro. When that shit like goes crazy for like new artists who do something different, like I love that, bro. And that's part of the reason why like I feel like even with my shit, like I don't feel the need to like please people or like feel the need to like make something that like I think, you know, like people are gonna fuck with. Like if I fuck with it and that's like my personal opinion, I feel like that holds the most weight for me.
Yeah.
Just because it's like at the end of the day, what I was running into, like when I first started like even singing and doing stuff like that, it was partially because I felt like I couldn't get like my emotions or like my full vision out. It was like by just rapping.
Yeah.
Like rapping is very literal. It's very like what you're fucking saying is like what you're feeling or like whatever. But with the singing is like you can sing and like how we talked about earlier, like you can interpret it a different way.
Yeah.
Like, bro, if you're rapping, like you're dissing somebody, you're like, yo, fuck so and so. It's like, okay, like he said fuck so and so. But like if you're singing, you talking about like no. Like
Yeah.
it could be whatever, but you don't gotta be about so you know what I mean? So literal.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Am I getting older or is just rap suck? Or rap's getting worse? Not suck, it's getting worse.
I
There's
think
still some good people.
I think that a lot of music comes in waves, and I don't think necessarily that it sucks. I just think that there's certain times where it's like evolutionary like periods, and I think that right now is like heavily influenced on things from before that like are just like repackaged differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like with me, like there was a certain time where like I felt like kind of like the same way, like damn, this shit is trash or like whatever. But ultimately, like that's like somebody's way of like creating music. Just like paintings, like how I explained before, it's like paintings. Like you might not like a painting, but like somebody else sees a whole different perspective on that painting. Like
Yeah.
somebody sees like a picture of a woman, and some people might think like, damn, that's like love or like lust or like whatever, and then some people are like, damn, that's just a painting of a woman. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
so it's the same with music. I try to keep that mind with it and not think like just straight ahead like shit's trash just because it's like it's just evolving, bro. It's like there's always gonna be, you know, like new generations and shit, and then it's gonna spin all the way back around to where we're like, damn, are they sampling Drake now? They're sampling, you know what I mean? Like this
Oh
shit,
my
shit
God,
like
it's
we,
coming.
Yeah,
It's coming. I mean, what are they? They just sampled. Jack Harlow did "Glamorous." I mean, Is it that? That's not even that old, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good sample. I think he did his job with it, but still, it's like,
But that kind of goes to show you, like, just shit just comes in cycles, bro. Like,
Yeah.
even like rap, I feel like itself used to be completely different. Like when I was like in middle school, in the sense of like boom bap was like a big thing. A lot of people listened to like boom bap, and it was very popular. Like a lot of like Pro Era, like a lot of fucking like Chance the Rapper, like all these people. But now you look back, it kind of seems dated. But it's gonna come back in the sense of like somebody's gonna make it refreshing, and people have taken a long enough break to where they start appreciating like that art form again.
yeah,
Just like the melodic, like what people call like mumble rap is like it'll always come in a different package.
Either that or the kids will think it's something new until somebody tells them, like, nah, it's from this song.
But
oh, you didn't know this was hot when I was a kid.
Yeah, but I mean, there's only so much you could. I mean, music is very unlimited, but it's also very limited. Like, it's like at some point, bro. Like like some things are gonna be refreshing, like how you mentioned, like the Jack Harlow, "Glamorous."
Yeah,
But it's gonna be refreshing in that sense where it's like it's still the same song. It's just like somebody did like a little twist to it, and people fuck with it.
yeah,
A lot of people are sampling, like those older songs that are hits because it's like half their job's already done. Like people already fuck with that song. It's already a successful song. It might just not be as popular as it was. So it's like, let's bring it back. Let's do that. A lot of female rap records are that.
Oh, those songs are just remakes of like yesterday.
Exactly. So, I mean, but it's like, it's a recipe within like the industry. It works. So
Yeah, unfortunately, like that one song that's hot right now. They took the same drum pattern. My bad. They took the same drum pattern. They're redoing it as the sticky beat. Dun 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 dun.
are you talking about the Bad Bunnies?
Bad Bunny just did on his new song. It's the same one Little Uzi used, just sped up. Same
I know
beat
what you're talking
from
about.
Drake's Sticky. The same drum pattern they used for the new Kendrick and Baby Keem song.
Yeah.
Hillbillies.
I think that's just kind of like like I said, just waves, bro. Like right now, I don't know who really started it, the whole like the clubhouse shit, the bounce shit. Like
Yeah.
I know I saw Drake do the album and it was like all that, but it's just kind of like you don't really know like where it goes. But once you start seeing all these artists following, then for some reason everybody else just wants to do that,
Yeah.
and that kind of just comes with that too. It's like I fuck with that shit, I love it, but I'm not gonna make a song like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Are you
kind of like.
sure?
I mean, I wouldn't do it just because it's like right now it's kind of a thing to just do that.
Yeah.
I would do it because like I wanted to do that shit. I feel like even with like Sweet, right? Like those are
Yeah.
kind of like, like those type of like tropical, like kind of like dance hall-y drums
Yeah.
that like I did like in a way that like fit the song, that fit the vibe. I wouldn't have done it if it didn't feel that way.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, that's why everything with your album, it sounds organic. It doesn't sound like it's forced. It doesn't sound like you're trying to jump on a wave. It just sounds like it's your own personal sound.
Yeah.
So I want to go real quick into your engineering career. I just have a couple questions.
Okay, cool.
So first, your Diamond Out song. What song was that one?
That's Congratulations with Post, which I was insistent on that song.
Oh,
so
nice.
I was just there to help them out and do all that stuff. But that was kind of like my first like in the industry. So like just to kind of like give people like a summary of like what being involved. Like if you're an assistant or you're like the engineer or you're like the mix engineer, like if you're any of those people who like are involved in like the process of making it, like you're included in the song.
Oh,
So
nice.
that one is like, it's a great accolade. It was like something crazy that happened. And it's like not many songs that are like that. But I love to remind people that like, bro, I assisted.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
like other songs that like I did the whole thing. And like those are the ones that like I like to kind of like feel more like
Like what?
proud about. So like Lemonade with Internet Money, that's Don Tolliver,
nice.
and Gunna and Nav. That was I fully mixed and mastered like all of that. There's Falling with Trevor Daniel. That's fully mixed and mastered by me. And that was like, I feel like that was kind of like one of the first songs on like that wave of like TikTok where the industry started learning, like that shit popped off on TikTok.
Yeah.
So like the industry started learning, like doing like this could be like a thing where like we can push our songs on TikTok and that will become like big songs.
Yeah.
I feel like that was one of those big ones. Fuck, bro. I hate this question because like I be drawing blanks, bro. But I had like a whole. I really just need to sit down and just write like a whole list on it.
Okay, so I first heard of Internet Money because of one of my favorite artists, Trippie Redd. Internet Money, bitch.
Yeah, he did that tag for us.
Nice. Have you worked with him?
Yeah, we were with Trippie. We've done stuff like on our project. He's used a lot of, because he does a lot of like guitar stuff, and like that's kind of like what Internet Money at the time was like known for because of like all the stuff with like Juice WRLD and like so we were a part of that. We're part of his album. He was part of our album. So it's kind of like a
nice.
We were like we were in the same label. So he it's kind of like bound to happen.
Yeah.
Work together.
Nice. Were there any times you're starstruck when an artist comes in?
I'm not gonna lie. So like you kind of grow accustomed to kind of like you start seeing you just start seeing people as like people, and like I feel like you like people learn that like you work with these people and they're like what the fuck like like they're like super like what I would have done in that situation, but it's really like you just start seeing them as like people and like you collaborate. But I think the most I ever been like starstruck, and it's because I was just like blown away by like the talent was Chris Brown.
Oh, nice.
Because we were invited to like his house we were working with Russ at the time, and we're invited to his house because they were like, yo, we're not gonna go to the studio, like just come to the house, like we're gonna record over here. And they were like working on shit together, and we were trying to work with Russ, and Russ was like, yeah, just pull up here. We pulled up with like, producers and everything. And I think in total, like Russ spent like, we spent like an hour putting the song together. He was writing it, doing like the hook, doing all this shit. And then Chris Brown the whole time was like outside, like entertaining guests and shit. So we were working on it. He was done. He's like, I'm gonna go get Chris so he can like see if he fucks with it. Went, got Chris. He like walked in, and he heard it. He's like, this is fire. Like I'm gonna hop in. Hopped in the booth and like literally, and I want to say, bro, like 5 minutes. Like he recorded the whole verse. He recorded all the backgrounds, all harmonies, like everything, and the ad libs, everything. Like everything you fucking think of. I'm talking like maybe 10 stacks of things. Like he recorded everything in like 5 minutes. Like perfect fucking pitch, like everything, bro. And I never like ever seen some shit like that. Walked out, he's like, yeah, played it one time. That shit is hard. Walked out, just walked out. I ain't see him. I ain't see him for the rest of the day. But that was it. Like, bro, was that serious of it? And like I've heard a lot of things where like he doesn't like being in the booth, but if he's knocking shit out like that, then it makes sense.
Why be in the booth if you don't have to?
Yeah.
So, number one question Jeremy likes to ask: Chris Brown in the verses. Can anyone take Chris Brown in the verses?
For like R&B and stuff.
Yeah.
Shit, I
he
don't
could
know.
rap his ass off too.
I think Chris Brown is extremely talented, especially after like that personal experience. I don't know, bro. Like I don't really fuck with verses. I feel like it kind of like it's hard to say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause it's up to who's standard, you know what I mean? Like, or like you start thinking about like, like who's got more number ones or like whatever, but like Chris Brown's definitely a generational talent, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to like match up to that the same way it's hard to like match up to like a Kanye or like a Drake or like someone at that level where it just seems like they've broken so many things that they kind of like set the standard for like whoever's next to come type shit.
Yeah.
I feel like Brent Faiyaz is super fire though.
Have you worked with him?
No, I wish, but he's super fire.
I met him when he was opening for, I think, like Amir Obey back at the Roxy in like 15, 16. All he had was like Poison and another song out, and that was it. I mean,
he's fucking hard. I fuck with him heavy.
He went on early. He finished when I walked out of the concert. He's literally just standing by himself outside. No one goes up to say hi to him. No one knows who he is. He's just smoking a cigarette, and I saw him, and I was like, hey, bro, you fucking killed it up there. You're amazing.
That's hard.
So I've been a fan of him since, and then...
Damn, so you was on your A&R shit.
Yeah, I mean, I like to consider myself...
yeah, I discovered him.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a couple people I discovered. I mean, I thought I discovered fucking... I was going to say Amir Obi, but then he signed a Def Jam and disappeared. I think he just dropped he finally dropped another record this year after that one, which was like 6 years or something. But
Being an artist, shit is hard, bro. It's very easy for like you to be here and then like be gone like next year. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It takes a lot of work, and I feel like some people make that shit look easy. Ice Spice made that shit look easy. Like she just pulled up, like she's like up there. You know what I mean? Like
or fucking Peso Pluma. I didn't know who he was before. The first time I heard his voice was right before Coachella. They said, "Oh, he's gonna come out with Becky G. He's gonna come out with Becky G." I was like, "Who?" And then now he's with the biggest artist in the world, top 3 streamed artists in the world. I think he just passed. Did he just pass Bad Bunny and Spotify monthly listeners?
it's hard to say, bro. 'Cause
He passed someone big. Might have been Drake, something like that. But he's there.
Yeah, I'm saying just to kind of clarify too, bro. Like it's very hard to like when there's those stats that are put out there, like a lot of that shit is like is marketing. Like a lot of the shit like they say that and it's just to like kind of like build up marketing, but like a lot of these lists at this point are kind of like very like niche or like very like kind of like I don't want to say made up because obviously Peso Pluma is going fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But a lot of these lists are kind of like, for example, when people say like Spotify and number one on Spotify, like Spotify is very like, it's very small compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
It's predominantly, I believe, like the U.S. and like Mexico and stuff. So when you say number one, it's like, bro, like you're not including like the whole world. You know what I mean? Like other places have their own platforms. So I guess the best thing to do is like use Billboard as one. But even then, Billboard has like a Billboard. You know.
Yeah, no, I don't trust any of these awards. I don't trust any of these things. It's all industry. It's they put you up there to help promote, to say check out this album type thing. You know, I all award shows, they're all trash.
Yeah,
I mean,
feel
it'd be
like
great to get an award from them, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm not there.
Yeah.
All right, check it out. We're hitting about an hour. Anything else you want to say about this album dropping?
I'm just excited, bro. I'm excited. I feel like every time, you know, this time of like the creative process comes around, like I feel like it's the hardest, bro. I feel like the music, I think I've talked to you about it before. I feel like the music and like the creative part is the easiest.
Yeah.
It's like it all comes so like natural and it's so fun. But then comes like all like the technical shit and like, you know, like you gotta like put your album and you gotta like get people to like be interested in stuff. So I'm just excited to reach this part. I feel like I'm kind of like approaching it a lot differently and just kind of being like a little bit more open and like trying to like involve people more in like the process and like just on like, you know, in that aspect of it. I'm really excited. I feel like every time I drop a project, it just feels like a bunch of like weight lifted off me. Yeah. It feels like I'm not like the only one listening to these songs anymore, and like the whole world has them, and like I can start getting like the feedback of like what, you know, like certain songs mean to certain people. I feel like that's always been like the most rewarding part of like dropping music and like doing that. It's always been like when people like hit me up and like, bro, like this song means this much to me because blah 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 blah. That's always been like the best part, and I'm excited for that.
Nice.
And whatever else comes with it, I'm excited for this video too, just because I'm just such a fan of like the process and like how it came out, and I'm excited like again like the reception of it. So
nice. Well, I can't wait to see it with everybody else.
yeah,
It's pretty good.
You've had it, but it's just for, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, lastly, I love this album. I'm proud of this album. I mean, I feel very grateful for the fact that you allowed me to listen to it early. My wife loves this album. I love this album. I mean, most of the streams you got on your thing right now, probably from us.
I didn't even check this. But I want to also say, like, I really, like, appreciate you. And, like, I really appreciate Above the Wave. I fuck with you and all the people who are a part of it. Mm-hmm. And, like, from the beginning, like, you know, when y'all started showing love, and I could just really tell, like, it was genuine. It wasn't, like, you know, just, like, some random shit. So, like, I really appreciate y'all. And, like, even just being here, like, to me, it's, like, as much as you're excited about it, like, I'm extremely excited to be here and, like, be a part of it. Awesome. And, like, I really love, like, what y'all are building. So I can't wait for what y'all got. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, tell everyone how to find you.
Y'all can find me on Instagram at It's Young Era, and the album comes out June 22nd.
How does that? So it's Thursday at midnight, or
Thursday at midnight. So, well, not midnight. Technically, well, it's like at 9, but technically,
are you releasing it early?
midnight at like in like New York is what
Yeah.
they base it off of.
Yeah.
So every time it's 12 in New York, then the shit comes out.
Yeah. So Thursday, 9 o'clock, June 22nd.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys check this out. It's Above the Waves. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow. And make sure you check out this album. It's fucking amazing. Trust me.
Yeah.
All right, baby. How's up?
Appreciate it.